A new federal party will appear on the ballot in 2 September by-elections. The Canadian Future Party, also referred to as Future Canada, is led by former New Brunswick Cabinet Minister Dominic Carty. The party hopes to provide a centrist option for Canadian voters in the next election. For more on how they hope to achieve that, we are joined this morning by Dominic Carty. He's the interim leader for the Canadian Future Party. Welcome. Good to meet you.
Hey, good to meet you too. Thanks for having me on the show, Anne-Marie.
Your party started 2 years ago as a movement known as Centre-Ice Conservatives, which was a coalition of small C conservatives frustrated by the federal Tories' inability to gain traction with centrist voters. Can you tell us a bit more about the motivation behind starting the Canadian Future Party?
Yeah, at that point, it was not a political party. It was just a group of people who felt exactly like, as you said, dissatisfied with where one party was going. That group quickly changed into Centre-Ice Canadians, as we heard from Liberals, New Democrats, and others, that they really wanted to see some sort of different voice in politics that was evidence-based, brave enough to confront some of our real challenges around defense, immigration, healthcare reform, things like that. And now we, about 9-10 months ago, moved formally towards building this new party, finally got approval from Elections Canada, fully approved as a party just yesterday when we launched. So we are now Canada's newest federal political party, and we've got a platform that I think is going to hopefully shake things up a little bit in Ottawa, see if we can get the country back to talking about things that matter rather than some of the foolish imported American culture war stuff that we've seen dominate our politics in recent months and years.
So you are newly minted. You have said that your party's tagline, so you tell me if this still holds, you have said in the past that we're not left, we're not right, we're going forward. What alternative?
That's our slogan.
That's the slogan. All right, so what are you hoping to provide Canadians with then?
Well, give a couple of good examples. I was shocked a couple of weeks ago to hear Mr. Poilievre say that his party was not going to commit to 2% of GDP for defense. Yeah, that's because he's trying to appeal to some of his more Republican-leaning parts of his base that he gets great traction with in social media. The Liberals are saying maybe 10 years we'll reach 2%. Our allies are reaching 2.53% in Europe as the world descends into war. We have got to wake up and realize that Canada is not this isolated little corner of the planet. We've got to engage to defend democracy at home and abroad. So we're going to be proposing that move very quickly to ramp up our armed forces. At home, we're talking about opening up competition in our telecoms, in our airline sector, to drive down prices for Canadians. When it comes to social programs, our key line is that we want to make democracy deliver. We support strong government that does what government does well. And we've seen too much from the federal Liberals of announcements that haven't been backed up with sufficient planning or funding. And I saw that when I was a minister in New Brunswick's government and working on the childcare deal with the feds, that just that unwillingness to enter into long-range plans to make a good social program work, and instead too much of a focus on the politics. So we want to be a no-nonsense party, cut through some of the rhetoric that I think has really infected our politics in recent years, talk about solutions to problems that the other parties are simply trying to dodge because they're difficult. But if we don't really address those difficult problems, they're going to bite us in a couple of years' time. So we've got to get moving now. And that's why we've got a party that has former NDP MPs, former Harper cabinet ministers, people who've been organizers for the Liberal Party, the Greens, all working together because we've got to move Canada forward.
How is your party different from the Libertarian Party?
Completely. The Libertarian Party is a party that doesn't believe that government really has a role. They believe that we should be able to operate as individuals floating around in some sort of soup that they believe exists. That's not how the world works. We need to work together. Humans are pack animals. We like to work together in groups. It's how we make those packs work well together that defines whether a country is successful or not. And Canada's been one of the most successful countries in the history of the world. So something else you're going to hear from us is a level of pride in our country, that we are one of the first countries to have abolished slavery. We don't need to be apologizing. We need to be fixing problems. We talk about another area where there's been a lot of debate, talking about First Nations issues. That's not a problem that's going to be fixed just with money. It's going to be fixed with governance changes to give First Nations communities the power to manage their own affairs. So another commitment you see from us within 10 years to resolve land claims, resolve them so we can let First Nations communities live and do well, become wealthy, enjoy the opportunities that living in Canada offers, and that the rest of Canada can say, we've done right by the people who were here before our country was founded. So things like that, where the other parties talk vaguely, make promises, spend money sometimes, but there's no concrete plan to actually get things done. We're the getting things done party.
In the next federal election, as we look ahead to 2025, will you be hopefully running candidates in every riding, in every constituency?
Yeah, we've got a really rigorous nomination procedure, which is unusual for any party in Canada. But in light of the recent issues around foreign interference, we've made it so that our nomination process is as interference-proof as possible. You'll have to be a Canadian citizen to vote. We're not going to open things up just to artificially drive up numbers and risk the integrity of our system. And we hope to have candidates in as many constituencies as Canadians feel we should have candidates. We're not here to, again, spew nonsense. We're going to say, if we have 340 plus candidates ready next year, fantastic. But we want to make sure our candidates are ready to take on the challenge of representing their constituents in Ottawa, and if given that honor, to serve as part of a government. We're asking people to be responsible for multi-billion-dollar budgets. We've got to select those folks carefully. If parties don't do their job, we've kind of seen the consequence of that. When parties don't live up to their responsibilities of being the filtering mechanism to make sure that they choose the right people ready to lead the country. We take that job very seriously. Managing a country as huge and complex and fragile Canada is a huge task, and parties need to take their job seriously. We're not just here to get clicks on social media. We're here to provide management for an enormous, complex institution.
Mr. Carty, you talked to us on day one officially, so we hope that you'll come back and talk to us again as the elections continue on. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.